It's the Tuesday edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. Welcome back, everyone. And we're going to talk about a lot of things today, including the short term and the extended outlook, which takes us to the end of February, and some real good news still lurking in that extended outlook. In the meantime, it's cold outside this afternoon, of course. Now, the sun has been delayed a little more than we thought today. The clouds have kind of hung tough. We've had some intervals of sun, certainly, but temperatures, yeah, they're cold. 16 right now in Newcastle, 17 in Youngstown. I'm recording this in the 2 o'clock p.m. hour, so this is what the temperature spread looked like at that time. Radar, of course, is quiet. Take off the satellite to make this a little easier to read. Take a look at the wind chills, and they're not terrible at all. There's not much of a breeze at all today. So they're in the single digits. Yes, it's cold out, but there's not a huge spread between the temperatures and the wind chills for today. I'm going to put the radar back up, and we're going to head a little bit farther away from home here and talk about what's going on down in the southeast. If you've got travel plans, even if you're not going to the southeast over the next couple of days, your travel plans may be altered if you're flying because of the delays that are going to really crop up from Atlanta all the way up the East Coast. D.C., Baltimore, Philly, New York, Boston, lots of major hubs. Going to slow down travel nationwide as we head towards midweek, especially tonight, tomorrow night into Thursday. The first round of ugly wintry weather is moving through now, but this is just an appetizer for them down there. The main storm is actually out here over Texas. This is what's going to track east and produce havoc in parts of Georgia, the Carolinas, up into Virginia. There's going to be a zone down here from around Augusta, Georgia, where they play the Masters tournament, so the golf tournament, up through Columbia and into parts of North Carolina. There's going to be a zone here where this is going to be a catastrophic ice storm, one for the ages for them, one they're going to be talking about years from now. There's going to be people without power for days and days and days, unfortunately, down here in the southeast. Let me just real quickly, I know we're venturing far from home here, but while our weather's fairly quiet, this is a big ticket item here. This is going to be a national weather story. I'm going to show you the computer model outlook here as we head into tomorrow, just to give you a sense as to what they're going to be dealing with, and it's not pretty. Let's go to Wednesday morning here, and down in the southeast, all of these ugly shades of peach and pink and plum, or whatever color this is. This is ice, and it's going to be a huge issue for Georgia and South Carolina. Charlotte, North Carolina is going to get a few inches of snow at least, with much more off to their west. Atlanta, Georgia, where of course they just had the traffic nightmare a couple of weeks ago, they're going to get a big ice event, and eventually this is going to track up the eastern seaboard. So again, just because our weather's quiet, if you have some travel plans, if you're flying out of Pittsburgh or Akron, Canton, or Cleveland, boy, you could have some delays as a result of this big time storm down in the southeast. All right, back home. It was a cold morning this morning, although the temperature spread was definitely very interesting. The clouds last night had a big effect on who got cold and who didn't. Relatively speaking, everyone was cold, but who got colder, I should say. Where it cleared, it got really cold. Here's a -5 down towards Lisbon. There was even a -10 near Lisbon last night. -11, -13 over here, closer to Alliance. Closer to Youngstown, where the clouds were tough to break all night, we stayed above 0 in most backyards. 2 in Boardman, a 4 over towards Austintown, 1 up there near Hubbard, up at Zane's place there around just east of Warren. Howland had 4 degrees, 5 in Cortland, but then, look, all these negative numbers out towards Interstate 77. And even, as nearby as the western part of Mahoning and Columbiana County, it got really cold last night. Look at this, East Liverpool cleared out last night, and down there with a personal weather station nearby, it got to -11. So real interesting spread with the lows last night. All right, looking ahead to the future, our weather is going to be quiet for Wednesday. It's going to be quiet for Thursday as this big monster misses us to the east. Here's that storm Thursday evening, centered off the coast with heavy snow back in here. But that one's just a miss for us. Our next system heading our way is Friday, and most of this will be from midday into the afternoon. I think Friday morning's okay, but midday into the afternoon. This is an Alberta Clipper, low pressure up here, cold front back in like this. And this, to me, looks like a nuisance event more than anything. Although, as we learned over the weekend, forecasts can change at the last minute. We can have some surprises. So at this point, I don't think this will be a big deal, but stay tuned. Forecasts can change. Right now, the short-range ensemble model, which is denoted by the blue line here, gives, with this system, 1.5 inches as far as the average for that Friday system. And I think overall the range that I'm thinking right now is this is a 1 to 3 inch storm. for Friday evening, enough to cause probably some travel headaches in spots at the end of the day Friday, but not a crippling storm, or probably not as much as we got Sunday morning. Thankfully, we're all tired of the wintry weather, and there's a big break coming next week. I'm going to show you a couple of maps here, and keep in mind here, take this with a bit of a grain of salt because this is just one model. It's one run of one model, but it gives you a snapshot of what's on the table, what's possible at the end of next week. I'm showing you next Friday's highs. This is a February 21st, a week from Friday. And what we're looking at here is the possibility of temperatures approaching 60 here in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania next Friday. So 10 days from now. That's next Friday. Here's next Saturday, the 22nd of February. And this, again, has temperatures getting into the 60s not far away. You know, Pittsburgh says about 67 degrees. So, again, don't take this verbatim. This is not what I'm going to forecast, but this is a model that is showing what's on the table for the end of next week. Some real serious warmth, some much needed warmth. We all have cabin fever. We're all dying for winter to give us a break. And it looks pretty likely that we'll have a few days at the end of next week where we at least get into the 50s. And what's on the table, you know, this model does have us flirting with 60. That may not be reality, but it's on the table as a possibility at this point. So we've got something to look forward to for the first time in what seems like forever in the weather department. All right, that's Weather for Weather Geeks on this Tuesday. I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 6 and 11. Another edition of this video posted on WFMJ.com/weather and on my weather blog, ericwfmj.com, Wednesday afternoon at about 3 o'clock. We'll see you then.